Everyone, welcome back to Greg's Whiskey Guys channel and to this topic, the French whiskey exploration overview. I have to apologize first. Je vous ferai un petit topo en français avant de commencer en anglais. La vidéo sera essentiellement en anglais. Disclaimer, apologies first. Last week you had the part 1, which was not supposed to be splitted in two, of this French Spirits Day contribution of mine. It's something organized by two Instagrammers, YouTubers, etc. in France. I explain all in first episode. I will put a link below to the first episode. During the first episode, because there was a lot to do, lot to say as usual, or maybe even more than usual, for this special, very long themed videos, I had to pause a lot. And while I did pause, I didn't notice that several times, in fact, it wasn't paused, it was stopped. So it was paused, and then there were 3-4 at least whiskies cut, whiskies presentation and no tastings, but also whiskey presentation and tastings. So I had to figure out, I couldn't cut this 2 minutes of silence, I'm sorry. I couldn't cut it in the first episode. But rewatching it to do the timer, that's how I noticed it anyway. I decided to not only, for you guys, not only cover the ones that were cut, but also to add 2 more tastings, so you will have on the a total of the 2 videos, you will have 12 whiskies, French whiskies tasted, and around 22 or more brands covered, and around 30 bottles or more mentioned or shown on camera. Right, so a long journey. Thank you to be with me for this journey. I'm going to do a wee French introduction and then very quickly go to the tastings or presentation or both. En français, très rapidement, voilà, donc j'ai eu un souci sur la première vidéo, comme vous avez pu peut-être le remarquer, 2 minutes de silence de trop, des coupures qui étaient destinées à réorganiser les documents, etc., montrer les choses, et voilà, 3 ou 4 dégustations étaient perdues, donc j'ai dû les reprogrammer dans cette vidéo qui n'était pas prévue. Donc c'est pas dans l'ordre exact de dégustation. L'ordre exact de dégustation, s'il y avait dégusté tous les 12 whiskies, je finirais par l'ARMORIK et l'Emeric Roberel de Clemens de toute façon. Encore que ça se discute, on verra sur le dernier qui a beaucoup de caractère aussi. Donc voilà, ça sera en anglais, j'espère qu'il y aura une traduction automatique en français, sinon excusez-moi. Une partie de ces whiskies a déjà été traitée en français, l'autre le sera dès que possible, ou je ferai un petit débrief en français après chaque vidéo, on verra en fin de vidéo anglophone. Voilà, beaucoup de choses. Avant que je termine, il y a des bouteilles qui ont été offertes. Comme d'habitude, c'est l'histoire de si j'aime pas, j'en parle pas. Mon avis reste, voilà, absolument autant que possible, en tout cas objectif. Non, mais indépendant du cadeau, entre guillemets, de presse. Moi, j'appelle ça comme ça. En plus, j'ai aucun complexe sur certains, puisque pour Distillerie BERTRAND, j'ai tout approuvé publiquement avant même de recevoir quoi que ce soit. Et j'avais demandé les prix, j'ai obtenu les bouteilles à la place. Bon, ben voilà. C'est super génial de leur part. Quant à évidemment NORTHMAEN, que j'ai rajouté sur conseil d'amis, parce que je voulais pas le mettre étant donné que je suis impliqué, ils m'ont dit si, il faut absolument que tu en parles. Bon, ok. Voilà. Okay, so back in English again. Thanks for being patient. So second video with some things to precise at the beginning. The disclaimer there are on the table. Let me see. No, I bought it. Even if I'm implied in the Northman one, I did bought it before working for them with them. The two only ones are the UBERACH, which was a gift from the distillery, but like I said in French, I did approve everything after a show in which I tried them, prior to any contact with them to ask them for prices, and they send me the five bottles of which I wanted to have the indication of price to buy some of them. It's a very generous gift, but I'm not feeling guilty. I couldn't send them back. I mean, it would have been so expensive to send 5 bottles back, first off, and then I did approve them all publicly. So I thank them, and I'm gonna review them, like it or not. And I'm not gonna say anything else than I've said before. The other ones are from MOUTARD in the end. Which doesn't, as many unfortunately French craft distilleries, they don't use samples, so sorry, so they when people ask for information, they rather send, sometimes, don't ask them, they might not be happy, when the dialogue is of high quality, sorry to say that, but it's true, often they understand I'm going to do a fair review, fair in the sense of honest, don't get me wrong, and so they send the samples, which the bottles, which are 50 cl, like the others from UBERACH, except one. Right, okay, enough disclaimers and stuff. To put a long story short, there's a cut in part 1 video in which for which all the presentation of this bottle and distillery is gone, but the tasting, I resumed the tasting live, but in camera, so I'm not gonna taste it today, to be fair with the other brands. Otherwise I will taste all the 4 bottles I have, because I love what they do. T.O.S distillery, the other side. So I will just present it and try something which is also related to them. But before that, because I had to start by the beginning, if I may say, the video was cut at the moment I was about to speak in relationship with La Piotr distillery, which I try in part 1. Another distillery relying on wine cask, but even more because MOUTARD, I'm going to show you MOUTARD. Here is a distillery which is also a winemaker, and first off a winemaker for the Champagne region since 1892. So the map, there's a big map behind me, but it's too big to show you. I tried once and was too glossy, unfortunately. Where is my red pen? Oh, so MOUTARD is in the Champagne region in the south here. This is a map I had to modify because it's incomplete. If you want to know about French whiskey history, please head after part 1, which is a very long part in which I explain even how French spirits history started. So might be interesting. And so in this episode I will give you less very big historical information, but a very quick background on each distillery I'm talking about, considering I will of course do videos, if not already done. The MOUTARD have been covered, for instance, already. So this is a winery, so that's why they use those kind of corks, which is wine corks, but very tricky to preserve whiskey, but it has its own charm. So what do we have here? This is a true one because everything is disclosed here, you cannot see technically. So it says this is a washed, fermented, the malt wash, the wash is done here, fermented, distilled and matured in France, double distillation, 3 years old, and yeah, it's a single cask, 45% ABV, and I have to tell you, it's they use malt from another a brewery, and each time as their single cask and very limited expressions they use from different ones, which is Larcher and Sons. That's why it's on the sticker there, so you can it's a very special experience. So MOUTARD was founded in the 17th century, but they do spirits since 1892, and whiskey since 2017. First release in 2020. So what is this? It's a very particular and very unique, as many French whiskies. I don't say they're super great, I say they're unique, it's objective, because it is this one is aged in ratafia casks. I'm gonna explain, I know it's difficult. Here is a ratafia they do, which is 5 years old, and it's 18% ABV, so this is a sweet wine cordial, stuff like that. So what is ratafia? When they empty this, they use the cask for this. Ratafia in French, une boisson alcoolisée sucrée par macération de mou de raisin. On rajoute le mou de raisin du marc de l'alcool neutre au mou de raisin. So in English, it's champagne. What did I wrote there? Cannot read myself, damned. Yeah, champagne grappa, let's say. It's hard to translate. Let's say champagne grappa and grape must mixed together. So the result is something that's sweet here, but in the whiskey, it is coming across very. Let me breathe that. With a lot of oxidation notes. Yeah, it's almost a 40. It's almost an upper alcohol oloroso sherry in a way, or let's say fino, or it's ultra oxidative. At the point where, in the beginning, I have 3 bottles from them, aside from the ratafia, it was almost undrinkable for me, and I said it. I did a review. But with a bit of time and air, it begins to be more interesting. But I have to warn you, it's very challenging. Will you find this abroad? I have no idea. I think it's going to be difficult. It's for people who really want to try something different. I cannot say something else than that. But if you're up to something rare, this will definitely attract your interest. So, going back to ARTESIA, so like I said, I'm not gonna try it, or otherwise with pleasure might try too many today. So these guys, and I'm gonna go to the history. So these guys originally, all the people you will see there, yeah. What's interesting in those tubes is that you can see the founders there. And on the left, you can see on my head side, you can see Cathy Gravina, which is the master distiller, and you can see her husband there with the beard. Well, they're all all two. So Stéphane Bogart with his brother also involved, and those I did interview in French. I don't know if there's an English automatic translation in a live show to explain what they do, because I think they're probably one of the most interesting and if not the most interesting at the moment new distillery in France. So the T.O.S distillery for the other side, because the distillery was partly built on the other side of the road than the brewery. And these guys do things very interestingly with I'm gonna show you stills. I have to show you the stills. It's almost a 1.5 distillation with a very interesting system. Gonna show you later on, but the result is mind-blowing. So they're brewery since 2003, Brasserie Saint-Germain, which doing the beer, page 24, if you know that. So they're located, let's start by the start, Greg. They're located, again I lost my pen. Every time I do prepare things, I told you that already. So north of France, it's close to Belgium, not so much. Oh yes, also, yeah. Here, I don't see the yellow dot here. So quite high in France. So what did I say? Yeah, so the distillery was founded in 2017. First distillation same year. First whiskey released in 2020. Yeah, they have rebought one of the oldest, if not the oldest. Let's say it's one of the oldest whiskey distilleries of France on doing 100% French whiskey. I explained last time about ARMORIK, what was the question, the issue about the date they gave first. So WAMBRECHIES, I have an example where it is here. So they use the same packaging, as you can see. Was founded not under this name, not the same founder, of course, by Joseph Clessens. So it was originally only a Geneva distillery in 1817, and then it became also, it still does Geneva, Genièvre in French, and in 1999 they did start to produce whiskey, single malt whiskey. I had an example, but unfortunately the whiskey has gone. Now it's too old and there's too much air. It's damaged. But the first whiskey they did was around 2002, 2003 on the release date. This is the Madeira cask version. Is it? Let me check. Second here. Is it a double? Always forgot. I think it's 100% maturation anyway. It's 44.5. Like I said in the previous episode, a lot of weird ABVs in French distilleries. So this distillery was taken over by the T.O.S distillery, so they're around the two. And I think that's a good moment to show you. No, I haven't finished with ARTESIA, but I'm gonna go back to it in a second. So hard when you have too little room to show you things, guys. Let me tell you. Again, I'm relying partly on my own researches, but on this French book, which I hope will be, I'm not paid to talk about that, but it's a very important book in French whiskey history. And Flammarion is the publisher. Mathieu Accard is the author. And there you can see what I was saying last time. The uniqueness of French distilleries is also this, because there's a lot of reused second-hand stills, especially the craft distillery did use to create whiskey. Look at this, different kinds, and this is the Clessens, the WAMBRECHIES original vases. Continuous distillation stills. You see, very weird. You have old columns still there. You have Armagnac like the one used for the whiskey, the distillery I worked with, and T.O.S distillery I think is there. I saw it. Okay, never mind, because I know there is an example there. So the book is maybe the most interesting thing of this book is aside from the history of whiskey and history of well, if you could see all this. Yeah. So you have, it's not a double distillation, but almost on which page? On this page you have the T.O.S distillery still. So yeah, if you want, you can do a double distillation. That's why they're showing second circuit, second pass if you want. And the Holstein allows you to control a lot the heating, the coldness, and you can adjust the intensity of the water of the déphlegmateur. It's in French. It's very technical. I don't know the equivalent in English. There's a catalyzer also, which is very special with a copper blades. Yeah, so they do a first selection for the feints and foreshots. It's very complicated process, but there you can see how sophisticated are some of the French stills. What else? The expression you more likely could find abroad is the one that was first store-picked by La Maison du Whisky, even tailor-made for them, Fût Noir Char 3, which is a bilingual name of whiskey. Fût is cask, Noir is black, Char is brûlage, and the English word for brûlage, level 3, so quite high, not the max but quite high. So this was a version at 46%, and all those their whiskies are unchill filtered and colored, by the way. Otherwise I really advise you what was the most spectacular I discovered. It's called pure malt whiskey, but they're gonna change. I told them to change, and I think it's working now. It's gonna become a core range instead of just distillery exclusive. It's a single malt, all bourbon, first and refill. It's a wonder. I forgot to make comparisons. A young Glencadam, maybe, no less than that. Right. 23 minutes burnt. I shall move on with our first tasting of MICHARD. And before, I have to show you on the map. We're going now center of France, almost, or a bit higher. I always forget where they are, because they're, I think there's the only one to... come on. I gotta check out, sorry. First pause. Okay, I have to use this other book by Robin Tranger, Whiskey Made in French. Very nice, but 2017, so only 20 distilleries instead of 130 plus now, and 80 to 90 having a whiskey released. And there you have it. Oops, it's almost, but it's included in the Nouvelle Aquitaine, I think. Limoges, it's the place where they are, so not too far from Bordeaux, and all the center of the new cognac distilleries. Like I did explain you last time, the three main families we could draw a kind of landscape of French whiskies are, for me, according to me, historically Scotch-like ones. So the brands ARMORIK, the brands Glenarmor, Cornog, with one exception, Ultra Terroir one we're gonna try, EDDU, and second wave brewers. So there's a new generation of brewers with ARTESIA and the one we're gonna see now. And then the last one, the also in parallel, so maybe four. Yeah, also in parallel, all the distilleries relying mainly or entirely on wine casks, French wine casks. And last generation, 2017-18, newcomers to whiskey coming from the Cognac and Calvados territory. But for now, we're still into breweries also doing whiskey. This one, so G. MICHARD, G standing for Jean, the father of Julie, the current master distiller. And Jean is the founder and the brewer. And they are related to ARTESIA as Julie MICHARD, which I'm going to highlight in a future video, like I said, about women in whiskey, which I'm preparing. Excuse me. And just a second. Sorry. And excuse me. And so MICHARD is ultra tiny distillery, founded like as a brewery in 1987, Brasserie Maison MICHARD. Then first distillation in 2006, first whiskey released in 2011. I think this is this one. This is 8 years old. I have to tell you that they do only around 30 to less, if I'm not mistaken, casks per year. So super tiny. Sorry. Yeah, what do I wanted to say? I'm gonna remove those ARTESIA tasting notes. Also WAMBRECHIES. MICHARD, you're gonna struggle to get it, but I really wanted this to be there because this is a bit special. Unique, yes, also. The casks, ex-bourbon, ex-sherry, new oak, Limousin oak. Sherry, I have a doubt now. I would say yes, but okay. I know they have a 15 years old, which unfortunately I couldn't try, which is really have a nice reviews, but very few people, and it's only in French, and it's not on video, I think. I'm not sure. Maybe there's a retailer who did a video about it. Anyway, so what is this aside from the cask makeup I gave you? What do they say? Oh, there's also some English. That's nice. Yeah, a strain of live yeast added to in the wort prior to distillation helps give it an inimitable taste. Yeah, so souche de levure vivante. It's a live strain of yeast, and also it's a centennial local yeast. So again, some of those distilleries are going very high on the local, almost terroir, if I may say, with high standards regarding to this. It's also non-chill filtered and non-colored, of what I know. And the best thing now is to get to it to understand. It is a really super fruity whiskey, but at its 43%. Depends of the distilleries, of course, as always. It has it's very delicate also. I wanted to have it first on the recording. sticky legs, not too much. So it's again it's a pale gold. It's a brilliant gold reflections. The nose is very particular. There's some yeast dough stuff like in the ARTESIA. There's a very bakery, pastry-driven whiskies. Those the ARTESIA, every version of the ARTESIA almost. And this one, they have a lot in common. I know distillation talks were done between those two houses, and they really know what they're doing. There's something beautiful, very unique. The fruitiness is gorgeous, orange, apricot, peach. There's also some very rich vanilla. I also get a rare note of benzoin in French. Benzoin resin, I found in English. This reminded me a whiskey I did try once, first time, and also I know it was one of the first times for every European people to try that, because it's something he brought, John Glazer, forgot to mention, when I was invited to blend with him and visit him in 2007. He made me try one of the very first, if not the first, correct me for the American, if you know, only information, first ever, or one of the first ever, along probably with McCarthy, I'm not sure, single malts. So this one is from the St. George Distillery in Alameda, I think, in California. So it's not the St. George from England. And this was uber fruity, almost like an eau de vie, a fruit spirit from east of France, for instance. This one is not as close as that, but it reminds me of it because it's very fruit driven. Probably one of the most fruit driven on the table today. Loads of vanilla, yeah, loads of delicate apples, apricot, peaches, but also some bergamot. Very rich. Santé. On the palate, you could, not in the beginning, but now, could be mistaken for a very rich cider. An exuberant Glenlossie, for instance, or Glendollen minus the spices. It's very sweet on the spices. Let me just put a drop of water. It's very quick tastings for this overview. I hope it's not too quick for you. A lot of talk, I know. I realize I forgot to speak about prices. This one was very expensive online by independent shops, 68 euros, but it was 20 euros less at the distillery online. I missed that. Anyway, I don't regret it because it's awesome. Plus the shipping, yeah, I know. So there you have it. This one you will really struggle to find, but if you're in France, if you're visiting the Bordeaux region, and you can go up to Limoges or simply ask in a shop if they have that, or ask someone to help you get it online, I don't know. This is really a beautiful whiskey, 91 out of 100. Forgot to mention rates maybe last week. Beautiful stuff, as Roy says. Next up, gotta rinse my palate. For the noises. We're moving now to, and we have to graduate the tasting not only by ABV but also by character. Moving on to the new generation, like I said, of distillers coming from the cognac territory. So ARLETT, it's a first name. They just dropped the E, ARLETT. It's in homage to the mother of the founders. And Tessendier does cognac, of course. There's so many distilleries making whiskey in Cognac region. It's up there somewhere. I cannot show you precisely where they are. So ARLETT, I discovered them in a show which I met, had the chance to meet Jérôme Tessendier, one of the makers and founders. It's a family-owned company, as often with Cognac. But we saw that MICHARD, it's father and daughter as well. So ARLETT did, where are the specs? Sorry, cognacs and other spirits. Yeah, they do Cognac Park, Grand Breuil Cognac. They also do Mr. Gaston Gin and Mr. Gaston Brandy, Season Rum, Saison, 7 years blended Scotch whiskey sourced, of course, imported. They do cognac since 80. The French whiskey distilled in 2019, so quite recent. First release in 2022. So this one is, so it's 3 years old. I bought two. I bought one which is a bit more challenging. It's nice, but it's very oak driven, with some new oak involved, if I'm not mistaken. The original, yeah, it's new oak, mainly new oak, but also used oak, French oak, and it shows. It's nice, but it shows. 85.5, it's not a bad rating. But the one that stood out, they have a rum cask, they have another one, I don't remember which one was, but the one for me which stood out paradoxally is with a very exotic cask to finish it. So again, French oak, new and 50-50 sherry and new oak. Oh no, sorry, new American oak this time. And 1 year of Mizunara, Japanese cask finish. So very delicate, difficult to work cask. So this one is Finition Fût Mizunara. Finition means finish, Fût means cask, Mizunara, you get it. 48% ABV, very cool. Very unique also, you have to like that. Dumpy bottle style and with those circles of texture is interesting. Don't know what looks a bit like perfume. I don't know what Jeff, our friend Jeff Whisky, recommend this channel by the way, will think of that. He's a designer. There we have it. So new generation of cognac makers and also a Calvados. I didn't select this one. It was less interesting than this. From Maison Bunel, sorry, it's not bad, but this one I bought because I thought there was really one of the best mastery on Mizunara, even on the Scottish side of things ever made. Very cleverly made. The cognac distilleries and Calvados, again, they have the science of distillation. Alambic Charentais, they're very alike the pot stills, and they also have the cooperage, most often inside a distillery or close, and they also of course have the science of maturation. Now that said, this one is quite young, but for a bit older whiskies, I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of practices that are in cognac. So this one, yes, uses one of the practices, which is very slow reduction with the minerals water. But another practice, reduction to get to 48%, I mean, from cask strength to 48. But I also use a lot of recasking, so wood tech, but cognac wood tech, if I may say. Natural, I don't know, but very traditional for cognac. So if they want to impart something special with a cask, they do not hesitate to stop the maturation, to change the liquid, the cask with the same liquid several times, like you do in cognac, in Armagnac. So like it or not. Let me pause a second. Yeah, I don't know why the atmosphere is quickly drying inside when I do these videos. So on the nose, the Mizunara comes across, but also something that's very typical in the original one. That's why I bought this one as a comparison. Now I'm going to do a review of the two. A lot of toasted oak, a lot of toasted bread, biscotte in French. Don't have the word now. Interesting, a lot of oak driven, but also some clean and crisp distillate. It's gone about it. Very typical Mizunara oak with that exotic, bit sharp and not tannic. No, it's sweeter than you can think. There's something a bit sticky, maybe praline, maybe almost chestnut oak. This Mizunara is very distinctive. Sweet spices, cinnamon, nutmeg, what else? There's some vanilla, some honey, some hot caramel. So maybe a tad towards some bourbon, you know, bourbons, or maybe some Middleton Methods and Madness chestnut oak. But I don't know why, but it works. I really enjoy it. So 87.5. The price was quite reasonable, 54%, 54 euros for 48% ABV. I think it's quite a fair price. Right. If you've seen the first video, I'm giving an alternative, even if there might be two instead of one for some whiskies. And when I don't have the bottles, I'm obliged to show you pictures. So FONTAGARD is another cognac distillery from a cognac distillery which works since they do since 1870, family owned since 1878. French whiskey distilled in 2018, first release in 2021. This one is the stem, which is Saint-Emilion wine casks, bottle 2023, 44.6. Black opaque, but there's something I like there with all these different kind of layers, not layers, but you know, texture work. I will have the bottle soon and I will review it, and there's something as it's in west of France that really reminds me of Pierre Soulages black paintings, for those in the know. So it's kind of tribute to Soulages Distillery for me. I didn't say that to the owner, one of the owners I met. I forgot completely, but this is why I like it. Usually I hate opaque bottles, especially black. Then we're going now to the probably most, let me see the other whiskies still out. Yeah, one of the very most, or if not the most, terroir of them all. And I'm gonna explain you why. I already did the review of this. I should be, because time is really running out, I should be very quick on this. But it's a, let's say it's a re-review, quickly re-review. EDDU BROCELIANDE, EDDU means buckwheat, and there you have it already. It cannot be called single malt or single grain, because normally it's not a cereal exactly. The buckwheat is some kind of, we say polygonacea here, closer to the flour if you want to go quickly. It's from Brittany. So this one is EDDU, so it's the one of the westerners, most western distilleries from Brittany. So what is very cool is this expression, which is 5 years old. Even if it's not stated, you can learn about it online. It's often the case for French distilleries, unfortunately. Cask types are 400 liters. Especially they use French oak from Limousin region, so Bordeaux, not Bordeaux, but you know, the west. And they use for this expression also Broceliande forest, very famous from King Arthur, etc. They also use Breton, Brittany oak, Breton oak, called 400 liters casks. And what is cool, where is the packaging, the external packaging, double maturation, non-chill filtered, natural color. So you see the map and very interesting specs there. They give you, it's a bit glossy, so 25,000 liters copper stills, double distillation. As often in some French distilleries, it's a direct fire stills. Quite interesting. Ex-cognac, and then also slow reduction. And it's sourced water from the Vale of Pont Menhirs. You have everything, yeah, bottled and chill filtered, etc. What else can I say about them? What else can I say about them? So many papers. Yeah, they also do cider, some kind of cider distilled aperitif. They also do some mead, chouchen. No, not exactly. Blanche de Pomme. Okay, I mistake. It's chouchen is from ARMORIK. We're gonna see that later on. They also do, yeah, they're in Plomelin in Brittany. They also do a single grain like product with the EDDU, which uses unmalted barley. So this one is the most funky on the table. And to tell you the truth, I bought the bottle. Yeah, I didn't like it at first. While I loved the sample, I did a video about EDDU, go watch it. And the second one about this, which did it really improved a lot. The nose remains very challenging for those who aren't used. There's a good, nice thing, which is all kinds of apples, but some very acidic ones like green apples. Granny Smith will be very young. That's floral, but there's also some verbena, some grapefruit, some almost some green tea and green oak. There's a high acidity. It was almost sulfured also when I opened the bottle. But now it's getting gentle with more aniseed, with a very citrusy profile, but not the Italian Amalfi lemons, so more acidic ones. Also maybe the greeniness can come from the oak, the Brittany oak, I don't know. It's honeyed as well, but acacia honey. It's very green. So maybe there's some kind of I forgot the name in English. I'm not gonna find now. Go to watch the review. On the palate, it's more gentle than on the nose. Well, all what I said. There's a greeniness, but there's also the honey. You can really feel the buckwheat, which is different from the wheated bourbons, for instance. Very different. There's really a botanical feel to it, green tea, and also all kinds of almost chamomile-like feel. I finally ended 85.5, but it's a very challenging, but it's, if you want something really, really, because buckwheat is only, if not mistaken, is only located in Brittany, or the most of it is there. Well, some barley for other distilleries can come from other countries. It's a quite unique profile. Oh my god, we have 4 others distilleries to cover. 3. They do also this is the old packaging we was taller, the gold, which is 10 years old plus, instead of 5. but doesn't have Brittany oak, so it's more gentle. Right, done with that. On the distilleries, I wanted to add to this second video. I was wondering if I will add something in which I implied in, but finally I said I talked with some friends and they say, no, Greg, you have to. I was about to withdraw it and they said, no, you have to speak about it, you worked for it, but it's not only because of that, it's because it's very special as well. Okay, so I'm gonna speak, but I'm not gonna choose the bottle. I'm gonna show you, okay, but I worked with, but maybe the one. Look at this natural color, it's insane. I mean, well, always the light is complicated. It was very dark and very reddish. So this is the canning from, and again, it really pisses me off. I worked with them, but that's why I did this. Okay, I'm gonna show you. It's not perfect. It's not exactly what I asked for the label. It's the whiskey I blended for them. The one I'm reviewing today doesn't even say, except on the back, the name of the distillery. Come on. And also it doesn't even say I made them add non-chill filtered, non-colored, because it is. So if you have something good, why not say it? I said the same to ARMORIK, to ARTESIA, by the way. They should add natural color non-chill filtered. They said, we will. Thank you, Greg. When I can be useful, sometimes I'm happy. So why this? So we are now in Normandy. Show the map first. Always good to see the map. So many things. If you could see how many messy, it's all over the place. I mean, before me you would understand why I struggle and do mistakes. Maybe. It's an excuse, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. It's quite north. It's Rouen, if you know the town Rouen, with Monet, Claude Monet's famous painter Cathedral of Rouen. Bit of art. So Northman, this is the Kenning first day, history, background. Brewery, farm brewery distillery in La Chapelle Saint-Ouen, Normandy, founded in 1997 for the brewery. 2002 first distillation, 2005 first whiskey height, so quite old distillery too, for France. Working mainly for this first, which was a play of words, because they are very high on the Viking heritage of Normandy. So this is the main marketing point for the distillery. So this is a whiskey Thor Boyo, a play of words in French, which to say it's undrinkable or it's very rough. Thor, of course, instead of Thor, T.O.S, D in French. Boyo, it's the guts. So you see all the Highland Park-ness, if I may say. So this one, the first one they did, the Thor Boyo, is made of, it's single malt, of course, this one too, but it's French oak, ex-Bordeaux red wine oak, but it doesn't feel as winey because they use brewery yeast and they use four different kinds of, they use several kinds of varieties of malt. Not for this one, but I went too far in spoiling. So they can work with. It's what I would do, but they're not Westland. I gave away too much. It's what I would do. But anyway, this is very special because his use is an Armagnac still. I showed you. But what did I do? I took this and this. So this is acacia oak, allowed in France, as in Ireland, United States, England, but not in Scotland. Acacia oak and previous content, 6 years old. Sauterne wine, sweet wine. Red wine, Sauterne. On the paper it doesn't work, it's crap, but when you taste it, it's excellent. So I took those two, I mixed them with 8 different recipes to get to this. Cuvée 1010. But it's not the topic of today. The topic of today is this one, which really did give me the idea to work with them, because it's very, very special. Look, it's unchill filtered and it's uncolored, but look at this color, insane color. It's the Sauterne. It's a kind of Sauterne I know Glenarmor used, which is very dark and very reddish. I don't know why, I don't know how, but what is insane is this is very rye-like whiskey. It's also what I pushed in my single malt. Despite the name single malt, it's very rye forward whiskey. So lots of what did I wrote? Yeah, there's some honey. There's some heather honey in English. Lots of dried fruits. Also, there's something like eucalyptus, vetiver, green tea. But there's also some exotic notes, Eastern. Let's go on the palate. Hints of rose, hints of papaya, hints of guava. More enhanced. PT, it's 42.4 ABV. I tried casks. I selected casks. Finally, I withdrew one which has 63% ABV. Can be too long on what I worked for them. I did make a French video which was okay. I mean, in HD quality. So it was uploaded in the video section, but unfortunately I did a video in English about my creation with them, and the high HD quality didn't work, so it's only uploaded in SD, and that is why probably YouTube decided to put it in the live show sections instead of a video. So it is not good for me because it's not visible easily, but anyway, it's not your problem. Okay, so quite beautiful one, and very, very unusual profile. If you're on for something different, exotic, very close to rye whiskey, you can go to try NORTHMAEN. Even in the red wine French oak, it's something exotic in it that's very unique. I won't give you the rating because it's gonna say I'm biased. Enough of weirdness now. We're gonna go to the two last bottles for the ARMORIK, and you saw where it is. Oh yeah, you saw I did a video in English about ARMORIK 15, a stunning new limited edition of the version of the 15. It's only a few years, they do 15 years old. But since I did the video of 15, I couldn't help get me the 10 years old, which you might find more easily abroad, in UK especially. 46% ABV, unchill filtered, uncolored. This one, so yeah, I spoke about ARMORIK in several occasions in the video of the 15, so I'm going to be very quick. They do whiskey and other spirits, founded in 1900. Also Fine Bretagne distilled cider, liquors, gin, chouchen, in French mead spirit. French whiskey, first distilled in 1983, first blended whiskey ever for France, but partly sourced from Scotland for the malt. First 100% malt and locally made, matured in France in 1993. Distillation, but released in 1998. It's in Lannion, Bretagne. So this one is up north of Brittany there, close to the Cornog we saw in Glenarmor last week. The specs, not gonna give you everything because it's long, Basically, for that year they use 8 casks. First maturation or single for one of the 8 casks. There's one of the 8 casks that's 10 years old, first fill, bourbon. All the others, and there's one 9-year, okay, and the other ones has several years, up to 9 years at the max. And then they have sherry Oloroso, or one has sherry PX for 7 years and 3 of bourbon. So lots of different US, Spanish oak, etc. I'm not going to go too much into details. 46% ABV, retails in France for 69 euros, but I know Menno in Belgium can find it less expensive, almost 10, and in Germany almost 10 euros less. So bargain for the two. So this is, like I said, very Scottish forward whiskey. I'm gonna try it for you for the first time ever on video and tell you why I used a Glenlivet glass for this, because you get the picture. Yeah, it's very Speyside, crowd pleaser Speyside. The fruit, gentle oak, the fruit, the gentle spices, the flowers. Lots of things going on there. It's gorgeous, can I say? It's less typical, less spectacular than the 15, if you want a comparison. Anyway, I'm gonna do a review of this and compare the two. It's very, very, very nice. Yeah, some gentle sherry. It's very, very lightly peated, maybe some oak char, because the older casks were lightly peated. And some Earl Grey tea. There's some candied orange, some very chocolate, some nuts, hint of bergamot. Comparison, obvious. Glenlivet 18 of the era I knew 10 years ago. Well, it's too easy drinkable, it's dangerous. So first try, first estimated rating temporary is 89. Well, you know, the 15 has gone to 81 and 91 and a 0.5, so it's a real spectacular one. Beautiful, gorgeous. ARMORIK is made by the Warengame Distillery. Really highly recommend it. The 15 a notch better. What did I associate with that from another Brittany distillery? I did pick a bottle I haven't got yet, unfortunately, which is from the oh, I forgot to write it down. My mistake. Just a second. Okay, I'm back, and I think nothing was cut this time. Long video, yes, I know. Next one will be shorter, and I will do a break before for family holidays. But you will have two videos, 2 long videos in a row about this topic. We will never finish with this topic with so many distilleries, but yeah. So I wanted to highlight a bottle I don't have yet. I'm not a millionaire, so 77 euros, 70 euros. It's a GALAAD, beautiful packaging. It's again the legends of Brittany, and it's in Brittany, and this one is one of the youngest of the new distilleries. And where is it? Man. Did I lost? Oh, okay, it's up there. Sorry. So this one I wanted to highlight, à la table des chefs. It's one that has been selected by several chefs as their pick. It's a chef store pick, if I may say. So Distillerie de la Mine d'Or, it's French oak only, it's 47.1 ABV, they do varied kinds of ABV. This is, they first distilled in 2016, founded 2016, first distillation 2017, first release in 2022, such as this one for instance. And you can see Prélude en Broceliande, Origine, French oak cask, and there's one even a rum finish. So yeah, a beautiful distillery, beautiful whiskey. A lot of mineral notes in there, so it's very chiseled, very interesting profile also. But we're gonna finish with one of the most spectacular and long-lasting distilleries from Alsace. We're gonna go to UBERACH, which is the place. This distillery have 3 different brands, so it can be confusing, but it's also because the style of whiskies are different. So Distillerie BERTRAND is there, up east, completely at the east, and you can see this, which is the symbol, this bird, which is the symbol of seagoing in French, which is the symbol of the Alsace region. The Grand Est is officially now the name of the region. They have divided the regions in less numerous one now, but it's not very cool what they did. But stork in English, it's stork. Stork is seagoing, it's the bird. So this one is a single malt, lots of information there, 50 cl bottle, ultra craft approach. So it's a distillery doing whiskey and other spirits since 1874, organic fruit spirits. Mirabelle is plum, quetch, I don't know, pear, Williams pear, old prune, raspberry, Gewürztraminer grappa. And they also do something else I'll show you. Yeah, let's show you immediately. This is a stunning, amazing non-whiskey but partly whiskey. So it's Poisson spiritueuse à base de. So it's spirit, aged spirit with. So it's a beer ski. How inventive they are. So they did launch this in 2013 and it's the 10th anniversary. So it's 44.4, beautiful glass cork. So I will review this. So it's 60% beer spirit, eau de vie de bière, and 40% malt spirit, eau de vie de malt. The result is amazingly good and drinkable, very drinkable. But they do also St Wendelin Single Malt, a new brand they launched a few years ago, with beautiful, I'm gonna review them all. Le Souffle Volcanique, 46.2. This one is 48. So this is amazing. So this one is in the color cask range, sorry. Argiles Bleues means they also work on the soil, so it's clay, blue clay, it's a nickname of this expression, first batch. Distilled 2014, bottle, it's 8 years old. Bottle 2022, New Oak and Pinot Gris wine finish from Alsace. Cask 164. 48% non-chill filter, non-color. You might not find exactly the same, but all this range, I mean, I tasted everything almost from them recently at the stand in France Quintessence show, and everything was gorgeous. That's, call me biased if you like, but honestly, again, non filtré à froid here written means unchill filtered. So these guys, like I said, for Aymeric Roborel de Climens, the bottler and refiner, these guys are masters of wine casks. They know really what they do. I've been tasting them for a while. I lost them at some point. Some were not super great, but now, I mean, they have such a level of quality. Look at that, all natural. It's a deep gold, almost orangey a bit. There's something almost sulfury there. And then immediately after, you get the minerality. You get something very distinctive of Pinot Gris and the raisin and grape. On the palate, I can't believe it's going to be almost the same duration of the other without the historical point, but I'm trying to give you as much information as I can, guys. You know, beautiful. There's some acidity, but also some sugarness. There's some cherries. There's some ripe. Wow. There's some ripe raspberry. Hard to translate. Black tea, green tea, red fruit, ripe red fruit. There's something almost chocolatey. Oh man. I mean, if I was to prepare everything in advance, every word current. And what was the other name? There's another current and there's another mûr, which is mûr en anglais. Oh man. I should have 1 or 2 assistants, hahaha, and then I will be happy if they're good. No, doesn't want to understand that. Yeah, blackberry, simply as that. I'm sorry, so many berries in English that gonna add a few drops and say goodbye and thank you for. Oh no, I haven't finished. I have something a bit lighter but very crowd pleaser as a comparison to wine driven also to show you. But it couldn't go after that. Super complex. This is great. This one is almost the same, so highly recommend it. Also, by almost the end of April, spoiler for those who don't know, because we have to change the date, because Menno, Malt Emission, is going on vacation. And I was a bit sick before that, but we're going to do a double blind live show with Menno. Normally, if all goes well, in 23 of April, in the evening. And if it were double blind, 3 blinds each to try, and if it goes well, we're also going to do a thing I made up with difficulty, but I hope you'll be kind. It's my first one, officially, I mean, outside of a Discord group or quiz. Quiz for Menno, so stay tuned for that. We're not finished yet. We got one of the best French whiskies at the moment, but there's also one that's nice, coming across very weirdly these days because I've been bought by a bigger brand who does a lot of different spirits. Why not? But why change the name of the single malt for some expressions and call it pure malt and this single malt? This one is 40% ABV. This is one of the latest version of the Berclou distillery, which has been taken over by Les Bienheureux. You have almost zero information there. I'm not thanking them for that, but you're gonna see why I complain. Still very drinkable. If you're looking for something, it's Pinot de Charente mainly. The cask, very pleasant, very easygoing for everyone. Crowd pleaser. Again, it's on the west there, Charente. So it's Berclou Distillery. Berclou Distillery, did I prepare something about Berclou Distillery? Greg, what's going on? No, you didn't. That's not fair, Greg, you forgot that. Existence 2022 might have been there. Yeah, no, I forgot to. Oh shit, sorry. Hope I will find it quick. I don't want to pause again. Yeah, so 2002 founded, 2014 first distillation, 2018 first whiskey out, and I have it. And unfortunately this is super craft, and the craftiness. Oh, where is this? I think it was. We're gonna put that here, or I'm gonna keep it on the side. This was what really blew me away. The first release, one of the first release, ultra premium stuff. Yeah, let's change the bottle. Give it homage. You can see they have a very special stills there. I think it's Stoffler, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Stoffler. It's even made trademark there. Whiskey the malt, it's single malt, and you can see it's almost unfiltered. There's some deposit there. I love how crafty it is. So this is French oak and finished in Pinot de Charente sweet wine. This is French barley and malted in north of France, Malterie du Château, which provide a lot. This is 47.8 ABV, and this is absolutely crushing. Very, very interesting whiskey. The other one I showed you, this one, I rated it 86.5. This is very pleasant, very fruity, with peach, orange, apricot. This is the same you can find here in the original release, but on top you have some heady flowers. It's more precise on candied fruit, some herbal elements, some spices, some ginger, some blonde tobacco also I noted. There's some tannins of the oak, and this is very Glenlossie like, indie Glenlossie. I have one from Duncan Taylor, which is 11 years older than this, and this is not so far from it. So very impressed by what they do. When I complain about non-craft appearance, they said, don't worry, we have another brand called Beauchamp, 46% ABV instead of 40. But it's not called single malt, it's called pure malt. Oh, come on. Please change that. Well, I finish on the rant. I don't like to do that, but I have on the table very distinctive whiskies. So if we're gonna give a chance to French whiskey once again, I know you're gonna struggle to find these, especially half of them, but ARMORIK 10 you're gonna find it. UBERACH, forgot to speak about the price, around 80, 70. It's a bit expensive, but it's very EDDU you're gonna find easily. MICHARD no. ARTESIA you're gonna find some maybe, but look, not those. Because if you see them come into different shops, online announcement, I mean, write down what you think in the comments, or what you might be. You cannot put links to websites under the video. YouTube will block them automatically. I won't even be able to see them. But if you have an expression you're wondering about, I don't know them all, of course. French whiskey, yes, write it down, and I'll say you would, if I tried it, what I think of it, or if I heard, right, if I can help. But yeah, I wanted to highlight French whiskey. Thank you very much for watching, for being so faithful. For those who watch, I know you're not numerous, but I appreciate it a lot. Long size videos are absolutely not popular. It's suicidal on the web, I know, but for now For this kind of topic, for others I will do shorter videos. I had to do it. Thank you very much for watching again.